Tomorrow morning, you'll wake up with something incredibly valuable. A full brain battery. Not motivation, not discipline. Just one simple resource, your mental energy. And every single day, you spend it. Here's the strange part. Before you've even finished breakfast, there's a good chance you've already burned through half of it. Not because you solved a difficult problem. Not because you built something amazing. No big project. No important meeting. No emergency. Nothing dramatic. Instead, your brain has been paying for hundreds of tiny moments. Small, quiet, almost invisible. Every few minutes, it gets interrupted by another little question. What should we do now? The dangerous part is, most of these questions don't even feel like decisions. That's exactly why they slip past your attention. Should I check my phone? Coffee first or shower? Reply now or later? What should I wear? Tiny questions, one after another. Should I start working or clear my inbox first? Each choice feels insignificant, but your brain keeps paying anyway. Your brain doesn't care whether the decision is important. It only knows another choice has to be made. Sometimes choosing between two pairs of socks gets treated with the same seriousness as solving a real problem. Ridiculous? Absolutely. Accurate? More than most people realize. Now imagine two people. They wake up at exactly the same time. They both slept the same number of hours. Neither one has an advantage. Same breakfast, same morning, same beginning, same job, same responsibilities. Nothing about their lives looks different. At the start of the day, both of them have a full battery. By noon, one person feels calm, focused, clear, ready to work. The other already wants another coffee. They're mentally exhausted and lunch hasn't even started yet. So what happened? Most people answer immediately. The focused one must have more discipline. It sounds reasonable. I used to believe that too. Now I don't. Because your brain doesn't wake up asking, how motivated am I today? It asks something much simpler. How much energy do I have left? And the moment you see the difference, everything starts to make a little more sense. Think about your phone for a second. When the battery drops to 10%, everything changes. You stop wasting power. You close the apps you don't need. You dim the screen. Suddenly, every percent matters. Maybe you stop watching videos altogether. Not forever, just until you can recharge. Nobody calls that laziness. They call it being careful. You protect what's left. Because you know running out is expensive, your brain does exactly the same thing. There's only one problem. You can't see its battery, so you never notice how low it's getting. That's why most people spend the first hour of the day protecting the wrong things. They protect the calendar. Every appointment is perfectly organized. They protect the inbox. Every email gets checked. Every notification gets answered. They protect the schedule. Everything is planned. Everything looks productive. But almost nobody protects their attention. The one resource that powers everything else. Maybe you don't actually need more discipline. Maybe you've just been spending your best energy on decisions that never needed to exist. If that's true, then we've been trying to solve the wrong problem all along. We've been fixing discipline instead of fixing the system, and once you notice that it's almost impossible to unsee it, suddenly you begin spotting tiny energy leaks everywhere. Think about something you never have to debate anymore. Brushing your teeth, locking your front door. You don't stop to weigh the pros and cons. You just do it. Putting on your seatbelt. No motivation, no negotiation. Just action. You never wake up thinking, do I really feel like brushing my teeth today? That decision disappeared years ago. The conversation is over. Your brain doesn't waste energy discussing it anymore. Now compare that to starting your most important task. Suddenly, everything changes. Your brain walks into the room wearing a lawyer's suit, ready to argue. Well, technically, there are a few things we should consider first. Maybe after lunch. Sounds reasonable. That's why it works. Let's just check one thing first. One notification, one email, one quick look. Your brain isn't searching for the best decision. It's searching for the most comfortable excuse to delay spending energy. Because once you begin, you have to spend the battery, and your brain wants to protect it. Then I realized something that completely changed the way I think about productive people. Maybe they're not better at making decisions. Maybe they simply make fewer of them. Think about someone who exercises every morning. From the outside, they look incredibly disciplined, but inside their head, the conversation is already over. The alarm rings. Shoes on. Out the door. No daily debate. That's it. No motivational speech. No waiting for inspiration. Just the next step. Because the real decision wasn't made this morning. It was made last week. Last month. Maybe even last year. That's when something clicked for me. Calm people don't have stronger brains. They simply ask their brains fewer questions. And that's a huge difference, because thinking isn't the problem. Constantly deciding is. So here's a simple experiment. Not for next month. Not for Monday. Tomorrow morning. When you wake up, don't try to eliminate every decision. You don't need to redesign your entire life overnight. Just find one decision that keeps showing up every morning. The same question. Again and again. Then remove it. Completely. Just one. That's enough. Turn it into a default. Something your brain never has to negotiate again. Every morning before the day starts asking questions, your answer is already waiting. Before you begin thinking, before your inner lawyer shows up, you already know what comes first. No hesitation, no discussion. Just the next step. One default. That's all you're building. Not a perfect life. Just one reliable beginning. Start ridiculously small. So small your brain can't argue with it. Because the goal isn't to impress yourself. The goal is to make starting feel automatic. Your default could be anything. Coffee. Open your journal. Take a short walk. Or work for just 5 minutes. Not an hour. Just 5. That's your default. A decision you'll never have to make again. Everything else can wait. Those extra decisions don't disappear. You simply move them out of the way. Until later. And something surprising begins to happen. Your brain starts relaxing. Because for the first time, it isn't waking up to 100 tiny negotiations. It already knows how the morning begins. And when your brain knows what happens next, it stops protecting its energy and starts using it. Here's what surprised me the most. The solution was never about becoming stronger. It wasn't about finding more discipline or waiting for more motivation. It was about ending the conversation. Because every negotiation costs energy. Systems don't negotiate. They simply run. Quietly, automatically. Day after day. Without asking. Permission. Without asking how they feel. Some mornings you'll still wake up tired. Some mornings you still won't feel motivated. And that's completely normal. Because motivation was never the point. Yesterday's decision is carrying today's effort. The choice has already been made. Your brain doesn't have to spend energy making it again. Now all that's left is the next step. One step. No debate. No negotiation. Just begin. And something interesting happens. Starting becomes easier than postponing. Not because you became a different person, but because your mornings became simpler. You stopped asking your brain questions it never needed to answer. And little by little, your energy stopped leaking into invisible decisions. You protected your attention, instead of spending it before your day had even begun. So tomorrow morning, don't try to change your whole life. Just remove one unnecessary decision. One tiny negotiation. One invisible drain. Because every decision you remove today gives tomorrow's brain a little more energy for what actually matters. Protect your brain before you spend it.